Muslims, please throw out the Dawa script. It's getting old. In my previous video, I showed how Muhammad had sex with a 9-year-old, and I asked Muslims, how do you reconcile this? How do you, with the Quran saying that Muhammad was the perfect moral character and someone that you're supposed to have be judged in all your disputes, how could you say that Islam came from God when the Quran approves of the actions of a guy who had sex with a 9-year-old? And they did exactly what I thought they would do. They went for the classic, it was okay that Muhammad had sex with a 9-year-old and married a 6-year-old because Isaac married Rebekah when she was 3. I'm going to show you why that is the most ridiculous argument in the world and why Muslims will do anything they can to defend their child-loving prophet. All right? So here's the argument. I'm going to steel man this for you, all right? I'm going to steel man this argument. I'm going to show you how it's the most ridiculous thing in the world, okay? So in Genesis 22, verse 20, it says, so this is after the sacrifice of Isaac, so you guys all know the story. Abraham was told to go sacrifice Isaac. God said, no, don't do it. I was just testing you, the whole shebang. And then after all that, it's in verse 20, it says, now after these things, it was told to Abraham, behold, Milcah, I think that's how you pronounce it, also has borne children to your brother Nahor. Uz, his firstborn, Buz, his brother, Kemuel, the father of Aram, Chesed, Hazo, Pildas, Jidlaph, and Bethuel. That's the important one here. Bethuel fathered Rebekah, okay? These 8 Milcah bore to Nahor, Abraham's brother, okay? So the argument was, at this point, when Abraham found out about all these people being born, they say, Bethuel fathered Rebekah. They say this is when she was born, okay? We'll come back to that, but that's just the argument. So here in the very next chapter, it says Sarah lived 127 years, and these were the years of her life, so it shows that she died, and Sarah was the mother of Isaac. And Sarah bore Isaac when she was 90, so Isaac was about 37 years old at this time. All right, now here's the next point. Now here in chapter 25, it says, Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah, the daughter of Bethuel, the Aramean of Padan Aram, the sister of Laban, the Aramean, to be his wife. Okay, so the argument is, Rebekah was born around the time when Sarah died, when Isaac was 37, and Isaac married her when he was 40, so she was 3 years old. Again, I'm going to go back and show you how ridiculous this argument is. I'm going to go right back, start back from the top. Again, I'm going to show you how stupid this argument is. All right, so as you can see here, nowhere does it say anywhere when Rebekah was born. All it said was Abraham was made known, because Abraham was in Canaan for about, maybe 60, 70 years around this point. So he had already been in Canaan for a pretty long time. And somebody let him know, hey, your brother has borne a bunch of children. And he goes on a big list, and one of them was Bethuel, who also fathered Rebekah. So he's just saying, hey, a bunch of these people were born, and one of these people who was born fathered Rebekah. And that's just kind of a side note. The big thing that he was told was that Bethuel was born, along with other people. And then another faulty assumption is that she was born at the same time when Sarah died, was at 127 years old. Okay, so the assumption is Rebekah was born at the time when Abraham was notified, where nowhere did it ever say that she was born at that time. And that she died, because this is the next chapter right after that they assume that, she was born around the time when Sarah died, which is at 127 years, so Isaac was 37. Okay, so as you guys can see, their whole argument that Isaac married a 3-year-old is based off a bunch of horribly faulty assumptions. I mean, they're really grasping at straws here. But I'm going to show you how this argument is even more ridiculous the more that we read on here, okay? So in Genesis chapter 24, Abraham was getting old. Isaac had not been married yet, and he told his servant, hey, go out to my family, find a wife for my son Isaac. Okay, so the servant goes out, he takes 10 camels with him. So as you can see, he took 10 of his camels with him, and he's going to Mesopotamia, the city of Nahor, Abraham's brother, to try to find a wife for Isaac. All right, so then his servant eventually gets there, gets to the city of Abraham's brother Nahor. And it said, before he had finished speaking, behold, Rebekah, who was born to Bethuel, the son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, came out with her water jar on her shoulder. Okay? So typically these jars were pretty big jars of water. They weren't something small. Okay? So this 3-year-old, according to the Muslim perspective, is carrying this jar of water. All right? But we read on. All right, so in verse 19, it says, when she had finished giving him a drink, she said, I will draw water for your camels also until they have finished drinking. So she quickly emptied her jar into the trough and ran again to the well to draw water, and she drew for all of his camels. So Rebekah, this 3-year-old, now is not only having intelligible conversation with this guy, but she's drawing water for 10 camels. Now, I'm going to show you how impressive this is if this was indeed a 3-year-old. All right, so I found a bunch of different articles that were pretty much saying all the same thing. So if we see here, it says, did you know that a thirsty camel can drink about 30 gallons of water at one time? And if we do our math correctly, 30 gallons times 10 camels equals 300 gallons. Assuming that Rebekah was a strong woman, she could carry about 5 gallons of water at one time. And then 300 gallons divided by 5 gallons equals 60 trips. So this 3-year-old took 60 trips going back and forth, watering all these camels, okay? But I'm going to show you how this was even more impressive for a 3-year-old. All right, so this is another article I found. So it says water weighs about 8.3 pounds per gallon. So the camels had not been watered recently, which seems to be indicated by the servant's request. They will drink more than 40 gallons each. That's 332 pounds of water per camel, or 3,320 pounds of water Rebekah carried from the spring to the watering trough, one jar at a time. That's some effort, okay? So, according to Muslims, this would be the most jacked 3-year-old of all time. I mean, this was one impressive 3-year-old, and I think I have a picture of just what she might have looked like. All right, guys, according to Muslims, this right here is what Rebekah probably looked like, all right? This was the most jacked and the most incredibly athletically fit 3-year-old that has ever existed, okay? This had to have been her. There's no way else. If Muslims are right, this was Rebekah, okay? So, do you guys see how ridiculous this argument is? See how far they're willing to go to push and defend their child-loving prophet? It's insane, all right? It's incredible. It really, really is. Instead of just saying, hey, you know what? I don't think... Yeah, that was really kind of messed up. Why did he do that? And why is our God saying this guy's the perfect moral example? Instead of taking that step, they'll literally go to these lengths to defend a guy who had sex with a 9-year-old. It's incredible. So, as you guys can see, without lies, Islam dies. They cannot maintain their religion without incredible lying. So if anybody is going to tell you that no, Rebekah was 3, so it was okay that Muhammad did what he did, send them this video and show them how ridiculous that argument is.